Hello! So the focus for this week's video is going to be all about using my Nikon Z7 to take landscape photography. We'll be looking at advantages of using mirrorless for landscape photography. So let's see what we can find, and I'll take you through all of the settings and functions of the Z7 and go from there. So I'm set up for my first shot of the day, and looking out over the wonderful Walgrave Pond. You can't actually see it, but it's just behind this this little bit of land here, and I've got a composition with the two trees. So first thing with my Nikon, so I've got it set up. So I've got a variable 3-stop ND filter on the front, just to take out some of the light from the sky, and I've deliberately got a lot in the foreground to really take in the beautiful colour of these grasses during the midday sun. So let's take a closer look at the back of the camera screen. So the first thing I've done is I've got it on manual. Now the thing about the manual setting is it allows you to see instantly the changes to the exposure. So if I take down the shutter speed, you can see what's happening. What's fantastic about Z7 as opposed to a DSLR is that it shows you exactly what you're going to get on the back of the camera, so you can really fine-tune that exposure. Now you can take multiple exposures, but if you've got the time, doing it on manual and really checking the exposure in the back of the screen to start off with is a fantastic way of doing it. So the one thing I can alter is my ISO, or I can alter my shutter speed. Now I don't really want to alter my ISO either. It's a bright sunny day, so I want to keep it as low as possible in order to get the highest quality possible. So the thing to alter, especially if you're on a tripod, is the shutter speed. So play around with it until you're happy with the overall exposure. So the next part of it is the vibration on the tripod itself. Now I've got a pretty solid tripod, but it's always worth putting a 2-second shutter. So it's shutter release button, and then you scroll over to 2-second shutter. You can have 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, but I've opted for 2 seconds. So I'll do that once more. So you just scroll over to where you want it, and 2-second timer. Okay, and now I'm going to take the shot. So here we are, set up for the second shot of the day. So these are the wonderful Priddy ponds, and what I'm doing now is I'm going to, I've just got an exposure with my Z7, but I'm going to smooth out those ponds using a 10-stop filter. So I thought I'd just take you through that and show you how to do that. First thing I've done here is I've just put in again a bit of a variable ND just to darken that sky on the outside. And I've got a reading here that I'm happy with. So it's ISO 100 f11 and at 125. So next thing is I've worked out using a app. I've used the Big Stopper app, but there are lots of other apps that you can use. How long the shutter speed now needs to be. So it was at 1/25 of a second, and using the Big Stopper app, there are 2 dials, and basically if you turn it to 1/25 of a second, it will tell you how many seconds you need when you're using a 10-stop ND filter. So I've done that, and the answer is 8 seconds. Now I just need to adjust my my shutter speed. So all I'm going to do, I've got it in manual, and I'm just going to go down the size, and from 1/25 of a second where it was, and I'm going to go down now to 1/8 of a second where it needs to be. Now what is absolutely brilliant about the Z7 is that it'll show you what's happening on the back of the screen, especially when you're using manual, and it'll allow you to see what the exposure is going to look like even when you've got a 10-stop filter on here. So again, before I start, I'm just going to change the shutter release. So I've got a self timer, so there's absolutely no camera shake at all, and I'm going to take a shot. And what it's doing is it's taking an exposure over 8 seconds. That'll flatten out over the water. We should get a really good result. So here we go. So first of all, what we're going to do with the shot then, so you can see here that at the moment it's on 8 seconds. Now that is because of this 10-stop ND filter that I put onto it. I've got an f11 aperture and I'm going for ISO 100. Now it was ISO 100 just to make the time that the shutter was closed slightly shorter. Right, so when I take the shot, first of all, the camera can't necessarily see this shot very easily, and focusing can be a bit of a problem. So at this point, don't try and autofocus on the scene, because with an ND filter in it, it makes it very, very difficult for the camera to do that. So I've got it on manual focus, so I don't need to check my focus. Now I'm going to do what I did last time, so I'm going to go to shutter release mode and I'm going to go for 2 seconds. Now if you want to, you could go for longer than that, just to make sure that you don't get any camera shake at all. The final thing is, because this is quite a kind of straight body of water, I've made sure that my level is completely level on the screen here. Now, you can do this in the electronic viewfinder, or you can do this on the screen. I'm doing it on the screen just so you can clearly see what I'm doing. So now we take the shot. There are so many functionalities to this camera that really, really make it worth having. And in terms of landscape, it's a gem. So, if you like what you see, then please subscribe and like, and continue to follow my channel. But bye for now.